I'm a scrub. Alright, so let's finish up 6.2. I'll call it part B. We're finishing up the binomial distribution. And then we're gonna do 6.3. Which was the Poisson, which looks like the word poison with an extra X. And we saw these were stats and StatCrunch. Stats, calculators. Binomial. And Poisson. I'm not writing the fucking problem again. Where are we now? I'll put it back up on the board because I saved the paper to show you. Where we ended was a word problem on car ownership. I'm gonna say see previous page because I didn't scan the notes from the previous section yet because we had the evac and I didn't stop in case there was a bomb threat here. Which means I have it right here. That's the problem we're working on. Hopefully you were here and wrote all that shit down. I know Arturo wasn't here, but he was on Zoom. We'll find out over the next 15 seconds if you wrote it down. Attaboy. You learned about attaboy for that one, good. Not everyone on Zoom started paying attention. I don't know why you fucking sit on Zoom with the camera off and not pay attention, why you fucking show up? But, looks like you were there. Everyone ready to go look at this in StatCrunch? Nope, some people didn't write down the problem last time, look at this.
I wrote it down, but I forgot my notebook.
You bring a book? She brought a book though, I bet. That's crazy. That's crazy.
She forgot her fucking school shit.
That was my backpack still.
Dang. Don't get your notebook.
No, because I took it out yesterday when I was doing my homework to look at it.
Why? Don't make me log in and see if you're working on your homework yesterday, cause I can
What?
tell. It'll say worked on this assignment on 2/26. I'm fucking, I ain't gonna look, just had to give her shit, cause her book fucking. Her goddamn tome that's not a book, that's a tome. Alright, you guys ready now? Alright, let's go over to StatCrunch. And I gotta get it up and loaded, get that out of the way. I think we even did this one in StatCrunch. In fact, I know we did.
Yeah, we did. But you showed us what it looked like if it wasn't, we did the wrong. Did you ever find out what happened?
No. I did have one student text me between 6 and 6:30 when the email came out saying like it was all clear, no, it wasn't all clear, it was just not, it was only on the Visalia campus. I'm like, thanks for the fucking delay, my students were quick on that shit, we need to go, Mr. Jones.
Oh, scary.
I know.
Your favorite.
And you without, well. I'm not gonna be responsible for the deaths of my students because. There was a 5% chance someone was threatening to fucking Larry.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to take that 5% risk, even though we call that
Regular.
unlikely.
Hilarious.
I figured it was in Visalia, but Did you see other fucking teachers didn't leave?
Yeah, and I was like, ah.
One teacher went and fucking tried to go over the administration building like 6 o'clock to go ask. Really, you think any of the motherfuckers are here after 5 o'clock? They're fucking like a bat out of hell. Fucking bars are opening up now. They're out. Second. Yeah, it sucks throwing the schedule off, but can't risk a real thread. Don't know what the thread is. I think there's a panic button they hit, they just. Hit the button that just sends out a text to everyone. They need to have one that says Hanford by Science Larry. And then hit all three if you think you don't know where it is. But if it's only at one of them, just hit the fucking panic button for the right location. I'm gonna have a chat. And you're like, no, I like my evacs. It doesn't happen, but maybe once every 3 semesters or so. I don't know why someone's gonna call in a fucking threat to a fucking community college campus, but.
I got a test. We got fucking, yeah, you got a test next week?
Don't do it. It's a fucking against the law to call in a fake false threat. Like, they will fucking track your ass down. Or you better be really good at fucking hiding your digital footprint. You- Don't try to go fucking use a laptop at a fucking like Starbucks or some shit. They'll figure it out. X was less than, or X equaled 5. That's where we were last time, that's the number we got. Alright, so what we wanted to do is go and add some more questions to this. So let's build on our questions from previously. I'm gonna put down the N, the P that we had. So N was 20, P was 0.35. Right? What do we wanna go with? Let's go with. I have some big questions right now. What is the probability? At least one home has 3 or more cars. Write down a few questions, because we don't want to calculate them by hand, we'll go over and we're doing stat crunch. What about? Between 6 and 12 homes? Less than 4 homes? We reframing? Cause I know. Fucking twitching, you wanna look over,
That's-
you haven't looked over at your textbook, but you know your pen is down. Textbook, I said, yeah. As soon as everyone looks like they're done writing, we'll go over to stat crunch and do this, cause. We saw how much fun doing just X equals 5 was by hand. Between 6 and 12. Actually, before we go over to stat crunch, what does between 6 and 12 mean? What do these each mean symbolically? What does at least one home mean? Means X is greater than or equal to 1. At least one means 1 or more. What does this mean? You would think. But it doesn't. It means 7, 8, 9, 10, or 11. Which means greater than 6, but less than 12. If it says 6 and 12 inclusive. Then we would do 6 is less than or equal to X, less than or equal to 12. Or the symbol twice. That's what they mean when they ask on the homework, this is what they're asking. What is less than 4 homes? Symbolically. You just reworded the fucking thing.
Or greater.
What?
Equal to or less than.
So Val is going with less, equal to or less than. It doesn't say equal to or less than now. Which means not quite right. What's missing? It doesn't say the equal part, does it?
So it has to be less than 4?
It's strictly less than 4, yeah.
Okay.
And then after we've done these, on the next page, we'll go over a list of inequality terms and what you're looking for.
Wasn't that on our homework, that little chart?
I'm sure,
Okay.
sure when you go through the. Integrated, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't know, it says some. It doesn't say chapter review homework, it says it's the other individual sections, I'm sure they had it in there. You think I go through and do the homework? No, fucking I got my degree. I don't have to do homework anymore, my homework is grading your guys' is shit. That's gonna come up on midterm day. When we do the midterm, even though it's all on a computer, I will go through and grade it. Cause you guys are gonna lose a shitload of fucking points for rounding errors. And they're gonna like, if it says you lost like 50 points and they're all rounding errors, it's gonna end up being like 5 to 10 points really. Cause I'm gonna give you almost full credit if your only problem was a rounding error. We'll talk about that when we do a review. Second, people are done writing. So we said at least one was greater than or equal to. And I can see all the lines are red. 0 is not red, but 0 doesn't have a line, so I don't know, apparently there is no 0. In fact, let's look, what is probably x equals 0? Really low. Less than 0.01%, so that's why. That's the same thing, oh. We'll write down the variance of it, this is the same thing as x is greater than or less than, x is greater than or equal to 1. This is the same version. So our answer to this one was, first question was 0.9998. We'll do 4 decimal places. I'm gonna do the x is less than 4 real quick. Before we do the between. The last question was 0.0, I know you can't see what I'm writing, but it is on the screen. 0.443756 to 4 decimal places. What should the last digit be? 4. All right. Now, we could go through and go, what is 7? Write it down. What is 8? Write it down. Do this for 7 to 11, but fuck that. It says between right up here. So let's click between. This has equal signs in it. We do not want to include the 6 and 12. If I put the 6 in the, if I put 6 and 12. The 6 and 12, 6 is highlighted. Why is it canvas container? What the fuck? Why isn't it showing me not? It only does. Huh. I don't know why. We don't want the 6, so what should I put for the lower number? 7. And I don't want the 12, so I should probably go 11. That way my largest number is 11, it's a red line. The lowest number is a 7, that's a red line. This is the one we want. So the 4 decimal places, we're getting 0.563, what? 8. Was that fun? Are we having fun yet? Alright, before I go back to the paper, I wanna walk you through like some examples here. If I have a probability, I'm gonna go back to standard real quick. If I do probabilities exactly 50. Let's just say I put a 10 in here real quick. And I'm gonna do this so that it's a little easier to see. Looks like a nice little bell curve, doesn't it? Perfect bell. If I make this 0.05. Well, here's the center. It's doing weird shit. Let's shrink down more than that. Here's like the center. This is a skewed graph. Which way is this graph skewed? To the right. Guess what happens if I do 0.95? It's going to be skewed left. If I do 0.99, it looks even worse. But it looks almost like an exponential, perfect like a curve. If I do something like 85, a little closer to a bell curve, but still skewed left. So like that P is really affecting what kind of shape the graph is, okay? Let's go back and put that on paper. Oh, nope, more I want to show here. We're going back. That's for n equals 20. What if I make this 200? Looks a lot more bell curve now though, doesn't it? I mean, there is some more, like, it looks like it might be longer on the left, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, like, here's the center. I need to get a ruler to see if it's like longer on the left or the right. Whereas when it was only 20 or even worse, let's go down to like 10. You can definitely see a skew. So like, what about maybe 50? Starting to look more bell curved. So depending on your P, there's a value for n that affects whether it looks skewed or not. Same thing with when it being down low. If I have n equals 10, it looks skewed right, but if I say n equals 500, it looks like a bell curve. So let's talk about that on paper. If n is high, looks bell curve. Regardless. If n is low. Well, when p was 0.5, we saw it still looked bell curved. When p was low though, like 0.1 or. Even like 0.2, depending on like how you go low. This looks skewed right. And when we had p was high. It looks skewed left. That's me blowing kisses Arturo.
That's great.
You never heard that before? You guys don't have very good uncles. Your uncles are terrible. Your uncles should have played the card game with you, played pull my finger, played pick. Did you card pickup?
Dad,
Dad's definitely played pull my finger. I don't know, that might just be a white dad thing. I really think it's like gender, like not gender, race. Not race, ethnicity specific, it's cultural specific. I don't know, I've asked this before and like. The people that had their dads pull their finger when they raise their hand. Were generally white people, whose dad played pull my finger with you? Only Chris is gonna raise your hand, okay. Yeah. Only white people raise their hand, mine did too,
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe we're just rude fucking people. We're all just, we're the white trash, that's what we are. The dads that play the pull my finger, no, I think they're just the fun dads. Alright, if n is low, that's what it looks like. We desire bell shape though. If we've got bell shape, the bell curve. We can use that empirical rule thing we did with the mean and standard deviation thing. You know, the mean plus. Mean plus sigma and shit like that, doing that, counting and shit out. So we want that, so and we saw when n was large, it looked bell curve. So how do we pick n? We can't change the probability. But we can change how many people we do the sample on, or how many things we sample. How do we pick n? Such that our graph will look bell shaped. Well, we use this equation right here, and this equation is gonna come up repeatedly for the rest of the semester, and not just for picking the shape. But n times p times 1 minus p needs to be greater than or equal to 10. So for example. If p equals 0.18 or 18%. We have this unknown n times 0.18 times 1 minus 0.18 needs to be greater than or equal to 10. That right there is 0.82 for that parentheses right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna divide both sides by that value. If I divide both sides by that value, I end up with this. In the calculator, we're gonna do 10 divided by 0.18 divided by 0.82.
Oh, it's not one next to one minus.
right? What do you mean next to?
The ones that are fucked up. Yeah,
That should say 0.18. It's the same P.
okay.
Ten divided by. I'm not calculating very well. 0.18 divided by 0.82. I'm getting. N is greater than or equal to 67.75. There's some more decimals, but I don't need the extra decimals. So how many should I pick for N? What should N be? At the least. 68. Just go to the next largest number. Round up. Did I tell you guys the round up story? So. Back when I was playing World of Warcraft and all that shit, I got tickets to BlizzCon. Blizzard runs the like Blizzard owns World of Warcraft, StarCraft, all that. They had a convention every year, I could probably still do it. I got tickets to it and I bought tickets for me and a few friends and we went. And on the opening day, they had one of those. Is it called a shuffleboard where you slide the disc on like this, like the sandy surface?
Yeah.
They had one of those, but they had an end zone. The end zone looked like some shit like this, like here was the hole. And we were over here, us were over here. And they have like little like lines, the idea was get as close to the end without going over. The closer you got to the end, closer you got to here without going over and falling in the hole, the better prize you get. We were the first people in line, and since I bought the tickets, my friends let me go first. So I said, well, what happens if you hit the line? What if you're barely on the line? What if you're like this? Just barely crossing the line. Part of you, by most of you's in the lower half, but you cross the line, he said, I'll round up. Well, I did mine and I think I slid it too hard and I probably went in the hole. And so I walked past him and standing like somewhat behind him. Okay, this is better if I get it right behind. First I always feels like you did don't. So I'm gonna get down right now. That was probably hard to hear. We're gonna come back in here. What's part of why this shit I can down here. So I'm like, I walk over and I'm like behind him, and my friend goes, and he has that fucking mark. And I'm like this really sweet guy, he's like standing right there. And I'm like, see him pause. He's like, I don't wanna round up, cause he was barely over like, and I'm like, round up! I fucking just yelled and said, you fucking jumped. And then he went and got the best prize. Scared the shit out of him, that's my round up story. Yeah, that was definitely a distraction. That was a delay game. No, I didn't look at what you guys were looking at on your laptop. I think I saw a video, but I don't know what the video was. I'll assume it was you watching one of my lectures before. Alright. That's kind of it for 6.2. Oh. What about best case scenario? If P is about 0.5. If we do that same thing. I have N times 0.5 times 1 minus 0.5. Oops. And if I do this, I should get N is greater than or equal to 10 divided by 0.5 divided by 0.5. And this is actually a whole number, 40. So ideally, you're doing at least 40 for a binomial. But I'm pretty sure the book has modified it, they changed their mind on this shit. Book might say 30. And when I say book might say, I mean homework might say. So if it asks you what's the lowest number you should do and you try 40, it doesn't work, change it to 30 and it should fucking work. I don't remember which one. I don't remember if they changed it or not. And then I'm ready for 6.3, if you guys are ready for 6.3. Does anyone want a break? If you want a break, say so, otherwise I'm just gonna work through it.
Want me to send it?
Well, I hope not. Alright, no one said shit, we're gonna work through it. 6.3, Poisson. Poisson, like binomial, has some requirements. Requirements to use the test. Probability of success. Sorry, not of success. The probability of 2 or more successes. In a small enough interval. Which is like a measurement. Measure distance or duration. Is 0. Let's say Arturo is prank calling people. Do you think he could dial 2 phone numbers quick enough in say, I don't know, 15 seconds? Where he can prank call 2 people? And they go hello and he's just like, fuck off loser, and he hangs up. 15 seconds, he might be able to do 2. Could he do it in 10? Maybe. Can he dial fast enough to get 2 phone calls in and say that in 1 second? No, he can't fucking say the words fast enough, let alone them answer the phone in time for that. So like they'd have to answer on the first ring to get it in 15 seconds pretty much. So like in a small enough duration or small enough distance. The probability of 2 events occurring is 0. Success being in that scenario, him successfully prank calling somebody. This might be, it shows up in like planting crops. You can plant crops close together, but the closer you plant them, eventually they start interfering with each other's growth. You have stunted plants and they produce shit. So the probability of good growing plants and it's small, like you plant seeds a ½ inch apart. Guess what? You're not getting fucking 2 corn stalks right next to each other that produce. It's just too close. That's what A is, a small enough window or interval, there's 0 chance of success. B. The probability of success. Is the same for any 2 intervals. That don't overlap. Of course, that don't overlap. Of the same length. This is a requirement. Anybody done like the paperboy route, the paperboy route? Fucking throw newspapers at the house on a bike. That's getting to be a dying thing because not many newspapers are turning anymore. It used to be. You get up, like they'd hire like 16-year-olds. They fucking deliver the newspapers to your house at like fucking 4 AM. You'd have to fucking bundle them up with rubber band, wake up Arturo, I'm looking right at you, you don't need to fall asleep with me looking at you. You have to get up, rubber band the shit out of all of them, throw them in a bag on your bike and fucking ride down the street. Fucking toss the newspapers at the houses that had. That subscribed to the newspaper, you'd learn which houses had it, you didn't throw it at every house. They even had a video game about paperboy. If you were the paperboy. The probability of success. Of a car being in the driveway or a car being in the garage when you did it, you're going at fucking 5 in the morning. If there's a really high probability, and it's gonna stay the same in the same neighborhood. But that, as you keep pedaling, if you're on the bike and you got a delivery route takes you fucking 3 hours and you get closer to 8 AM. Pretty soon, the closer you get to 8 AM, the less likely it is there's a car in the driveway. Because a lot of people are going to work or school at 5 before 8. So the probability is changing. You don't want that, it needs to be a small enough window. So like if you're gonna do a Poisson check. You can't like do something like test stuff that. On a daily thing, like. If you're testing things at a restaurant. Lunchtime and dinner time are the busiest. 3 o'clock, 2:30 and you fucking, 3 o'clock is senior time. Wow, what's the senior discount? She's like, quit bucking with me about my age. I'm probably her age, so I.
You're older than me, so it doesn't hurt me.
There we go, that's even better. Probably am. Oh, where's the guy? At a restaurant, you don't wanna do like. Check like, how often do I sell a steak? Between like noon and 6, because. You're more likely to sell noon and 9 PM, because you're more likely to sell a steak at night. Than you are at 3 in the afternoon. Which is gonna be lower than noon, but noon's probably lower than dinner, you wanna have like a, maybe 12 to 1. Or 7 to 8 PM or something like that. Where you're looking, your time range is that. Finally, we got one more. The number of successes. Is independent. Between any two intervals. Or not between, for any two intervals. This means no overlap. Well, or 10 o'clock to 10:05. 10:05 to 10:10 is fine. This is good. 10 o'clock to 10:05. As one interval. And 10:04 to 10:09 is not. Bad. Because there's an overlap in time between 10:04 and 10:05, you're counting that time slot in two different groups. That make sense? What? I didn't hear, it's probably good, just get in trouble.
I think you'll be able to, or on to your minute.
I'm not gonna be 55 for a while, fuck you very much.
You got 5 years
Sooner
to
than
go.
she will.
I was born 79.
So I'm not gonna be 55 for a while. Is that the senior citizen discount range?
It starts at 55. Actually,
I can wait, I'm not looking forward to that, I'm not looking forward to fucking April. April, my fucking, my digit changes, I go from a 4 to a 5, and that's. 30 to 40, you kind of feel a little bit like going from 39 to 40, you're like, meh. It's not as bad. 40 to 50 though, now you're going, I'm getting in that fucking senior range. That's like, I don't feel like it. Like in my head, my body says, you're getting fucking old, Jones. Alright, so those are the probabilities. Let me show you the equations. This is what you've avoided. The probability of x is lambda t to the x power over x factorial times e to the negative lambda t. Lambda, which is necessary, you can't avoid this. Lambda is the rate or the average number of occurrences. I think that has an extra R, that looks funny. Rates often have the word per in them. Like parts per million. Miles per hour. It means a fraction, there's a number on top and a number on bottom. T here is an interval. The interval length. We use T for time because often these are time. Poisson is often a time problem. X is number of successes. I am so fucking sad, I forgot what I need for Poisson day. After you wrote this down and I set up the next problem, I'll tell you what I normally do for Poisson. I'll tell you what I normally do for Poisson day after we go through the first problem. It's good, you would have loved it. You would have loved it, I didn't do it, I fucking forgot. I need to start fucking put a little timer in my fucking phone. Poisson day is coming. You have a question, clearly.
Is parts per million divided by something per hour?
These are two different examples. Example 1, example 2. You'll see parts per million or things like that where like shit that's in water or stuff that's in oxygen. Like how much contaminants in the air, parts per million. How much contaminants in the water, parts per million. Miles per hour, I hope you know where that fucking comes from. I didn't pull that out of my ass. So you guys ready for the first example? We're gonna do 2 examples and one of them is like this. And then the other one I'll pull from homework, because it's kinda like everyone's gonna fucking email me and say I don't understand. So we're gonna start the homework one and walk through it for you guys. You guys ready for some more? Oh wait. The mean and standard deviation, we do this for all these. Mu of x is lambda times t. Standard deviation is really just the square root of that. Or the square root of mean. Which is handy. Give me like 15-20 minutes, Arturo. Okay, then you can go night-night. He looks fucking tired.
Good.
He looks like he fucking was up till 3 AM on a bender and had to get up at 7. On Tuesday, Arturo was blowing up my fucking email. Can I be on Zoom? Can I be on Zoom? Can I be on Zoom?
Yeah, you don't get back to me with
I
that.
was in fucking class.
No excuses.
There is an excuse. I've not fucking. I don't leave my email open and go, sorry guys, Arturo. From tonight has emailed me, I need to stop and address his concerns.
Next time, that should be the case.
Next time you'll have to figure out on your own whether or not Zoom is open or not. And you did, you were there, what?
And then, as you mentioned this before, I did always.
Right,
It's-
I've said it before,
Fine.
Usually the only, if it's not on,
Hey, just need reassurance, you know?
if it's not on, it's probably because the internet isn't working here, every once in a while, like the internet isn't available. Every great once in a while. And I won't be able to check your email on the computer anyways, I'm definitely not checking on my phone to see if Arturo emailed me. But I do have videos up from previous semesters, which have the same fucking or similar content. Other than I won't be referencing people from the class, this class, and then obviously. You guys ready? Does anybody need this out longer? Val's still writing and saying no.
No, I'm not writing.
Okay. So, first problem. So fucking sad. The FDA. Anyone not know what the FDA is? It's okay to not know. I wonder if Trump's gonna shut this motherfucker down too. It's the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA sets a food defect action level. Called an FDAL. Short. For various substances. That inevitably appear in. Food and beverages. I would love to tell you that it's just processed foods, but it's not. We're gonna study chocolate. A Hershey bar, standard Hershey bar. Is 1.55 ounces. Which equals 43 grams, we're gonna need the grams part because that's how this thing is measured. And there is an FDAL. For the amount of. Insect fragments. Per 100 grams. Insect fragments include things like larvae or eggs. Wings. Maybe part of a leg. Antenna. You know, good shit. Nice protein. Let's go look up exactly how much. I don't want you to think I'm blowing smoke up your ass. I do that enough. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna go Google food defect action level. Sure, I have it saved on my thing, there we go. I don't want you to think I'm just fucking making it up, we'll start with the Google search. Val's gotta go to the bathroom, she didn't fucking raise her hand 10 minutes ago when I said, do you need a bathroom break? That implies any type of break. Fucking just trying to pick apart what I said, right?
Fucking answer for everything.
Hey, I
Ask.
couldn't raise my hand, I couldn't raise my hand.
I got an answer for her, doesn't bring your notebook, fucking puts me on blast every class. This is how you get in trouble.
Hey, you've written down my name and said this is what is wrong,
I did it once.
yeah? And so every class, you say something to me,
You interact with me, I talk to students that interact,
exactly,
right? Students that are quiet and never say shit. I generally give the same interaction back that I receive. Students that talk to me, I talk back. You talk a lot. Incessantly might be a good word. Alright. Oh wait, you read a lot, you know what that word means, damn it.
Reading and leave it to Beaver is why I know the Beaver is.
What?
So reading and leave it to Beaver is why I know the Beaver voice.
You are way too young to have watched Leave It to Beaver.
No, not when you have free TV and the best TVs that we watched was MeTV and Nintendo.
Leave It to Beaver was fucking awesome, it was too old for me, but I saw it. Because it was not that much older than me, like it's even older than your fucking parents.
Some of that, my dad's 60.
Yeah, it's older than it, I'm pretty sure it was before
Well, my grandpa watched
2060,
this.
it's black and white era. Gee, Wally, alright, here we are. I googled food defect action levels. First thing that pops up is the Food and Drug Administration. That didn't do shit. I was supposed to enlarge it, oh well. We were waiting for Val, so she didn't know how to say, yes, I need a break. I had to pee. Got to clear as a break.
He was making progress in here.
Alright, so what kind of things does this thing have? Yeah, things that show up is, oh, improper handling, that's a weird one. Aesthetic, that's a weird one. But we got a lot of shit like contamination. It's decomposed, which means the food is breaking down and rotting. Extraneous materials like say insect parts and shit like that. Infection, infestation. Mildew, mold for like fresh fruits and vegetables, not everything's processed on this list. Let's come down and look, what kind of stuff do we have, just blowing this? Fucking stop doing it. There we go. That way Val can see. I know she was gonna squint if I didn't, now hopefully she doesn't have to squint. So it's got shit like allspice, apple butter. Might have mold, might have some rodent filth or insects. Apricots, asparagus, beets and berries. You got all sorts of shit, I don't even know what capsicum is. What is that, anyone know? Apparently something we eat. Excluding paprika, I'm guessing it's a spice. Ground paprika, cinnamon, bark versus ground. The bark might have mold, but the ground cinnamon doesn't, that's interesting. Here we go, chocolate and chocolate liqueur. Insect filth, we won't even talk about rodent filth, they're a problem. Average is 60 or more insects parts per 100 grams. Or any one subsample contains 90 or more. We're gonna go with the 60 or more insect fragments per part. This has a lot of shit, you do not wanna go through this list. There's gonna be some shit on here you like coffee. Corn husk for tamales. Don't go through this shit. So it said 60 parts per 100 gram. That's a rate. 60 over 100. 60 parts per 100 grams. If you divide that, you're gonna get 0.6 parts per gram. That's what we're gonna use as our lambda. That's a rate. Pro tip. Whatever is on the bottom of the rate. He has to be in those units. So we have grams on bottom. T is in grams. For our Hershey problem. That's gonna make T equal 43 grams. And we have lambda equals 0.6. So since this is all in StatCrunch. Cause we don't wanna do that with formula, right? Some of you didn't even know what some of that fucking notation is. Like, what the fuck is an E? Why is E in that equation we got? E means exponential. It's a math thing. Let's look at the probability of exactly 3 parts. Fewer than 3. At least 3. Let's do at least 20. Maybe, I don't know, 35. We're gonna sample a few different like probabilities here. This is like how many, what is the probability that the average Hershey bar has that many insect parts in it? That's what this is what we're looking at. How much insect filth is in an average Hershey bar, which is not a lot of chocolate. You guys ready to go over and see? Guess what I give out before I do this problem? Hershey bars or M&Ms. M&Ms have about the same amount of chocolate in them. Generally, we do the M&Ms because we do colors and we count them and use it later. But sometimes I give out the Hershey bar, let students have a Hershey bar. But that doesn't set up the stats problem. Students start to get suspicious of me real quick. Why are you giving out free fucking candy bar? But they don't mind eating M&Ms and counting the colors when I tell them it's for fucking stats project. I do this. Like if I can ruin it by not bringing in M&Ms today. Anyone still writing? I see a couple pins moving, let me wait. Alright. You don't need that binomial shit anymore. We are doing stats, calculators, Poisson. All good? It takes in the mean. The mean was lambda times t. We said lambda was 0.6. I'll have to write this on the paper in a second. 0.6 per gram. T was 43 grams. 43 times 0.6. I'm getting lambda equals 20, I can just type it in here. I guess I could have typed all of them in. Lambda doesn't show it very well. That's our mean, that's the mean we're gonna use. Which means that's what the average Hershey bar has. 25.8. 8, right, yeah. We wanted to say exactly 3 parts. That's really good. Lots of zeros is good. Right? What if we said less than 3 parts? This is a net x, where they do times 10 to the whatever. Times 10 to -9 means take this number and move the decimal point left 9 times. This is a even lower number. What about x greater than 3? Or at least 3 is greater than or equal to 3. The probability of a Hershey bar having at least 3 inside parts is 100%. Or close enough to 100% that you're more likely to lose the lotto than have less than 3. That's a weird way of saying it. Alright, so. Okay, I am not writing these down. This was at least, this was one. The top one was 0 point, there was a shitload of zeros and a 2. This one had 2.2 times 10 to the -9. What about, I said 20, let's start with 10 though. What about at least 10? At least 10 is still 99.98%. 9%. If we round. About 20. 89.6, so there's about 90% chance that your average Hershey bar or bag of M&Ms or amount of chocolate that's similar, has a similar amount of chocolate, has at least 20 bug parts in it. About, I don't know, 30, 35. 35 is a little bit below half. Why did 35? Oh no, 35 is a lot below half, 0.48. At what point do we have like less than 10%? If I want probability to x be like 10%, I can come over here and put 0.1. I can't, this one doesn't let me do it. It used to let you adjust it. Oh well, we're gonna have to try. Let's try 33. About 10% chance that there's 33 parts. Doesn't that make chocolate sound appetizing? Every once in a while I get the excuse me, I gotta go vomit now. Don't go through the rest of the list. Promise you, you won't be happy. You, even if you don't like chocolate. Is there anyone in here that doesn't like chocolate? Oh, see, you're good. Every once in a while, there's someone that's wrong. Krista, you're not the wrong one right now. She is. Not liking chocolate is almost not human. Is it an allergy or are you just broken? So yeah, you're broken. It's not an allergy, you're broken. How do you not like chocolate? This is wrong. I have, my cousin says that cilantro tastes like dog shit to him. Now, I don't know why he knows what dog shit tastes like. But I think cilantro is fucking awesome on like. A lot of things, yeah. I don't know that it's awesome on chocolate, but it might be. Alright, next problem we wanna do, we're gonna go over to our homework thing. Let me erase that shit. You're gonna make me log in again, you fucking rat bastard. I'm gonna come over to the chapter 6 review. I don't know which problem it is that I want to do, so let me look for it. Oh, it should be in 6.3. There it is, there's the money, hurricane problem. So we're gonna do this problem right here. Nope, that's the website problem, where's the fucking hurricane problem? There it is, that's the one that's hard. Apparently the last question on chapter 6 review. So let's walk through doing this one. So, I'm gonna write down this problem for the notes, but it's already written on the screen. So just follow along with it and write it. Cause your numbers are probably gonna be different. For the past 106 years. A certain state. They don't tell us which state, but a certain state suffered 38 direct hits. From major hurricanes. Oh, the good thing about Poisson problem. It tells you almost all the time that it's a fucking Poisson problem. When you're going through these, they will all say Poisson. Assume this follows a Poisson distribution. It tells you which one you gotta use. That's gonna be the same on the midterm. When a Poisson problem shows up on the midterm. You're gonna know it's Poisson because it's gonna say Poisson. It says assume this is typical. This was not an abnormal year. Or an abnormal time frame. And it tells us the number of hits per year. Follows a Poisson distribution. Question A. Probability that the state is not hit. In a single year. That's part A, there's a lot of parts here. So in bigger writing that Val can read. You're the only one that squints,
Told you I can't find a sweet spot in my bike.
and you don't fucking move either,
What do you mean?
there's other seats.
No.
Move closer or further away and the sweet spot might just magically fucking appear.
No, I do the same thing at work, it's just who I am as a person.
Well, at work, you can't fucking move farther away from your computer without looking like a moron.
I look like
But you
that.
can shift in this class and move to a different seat and find the sweet spot. Val showed up on Saturday to the Mesa Center. And it was the one Saturday in the year that they were doing. An event with UC Berkeley, we were like doing a Python training program. She's like, God damn, this shit's noisy in here. Yeah, this is an abnormal event, this is not the same, normally the noisiest thing in that room is me. Alright, so. We know what follows a Poisson distribution. But what does the rest of the shit tell us? Remember, to use stack crunch. We need the mean. Which is mu of x, which is lambda times t. Lambda is a rate. And t is an interval. Do we have anything in this problem that might indicate what the rate is, what the interval is, anything like that?
30 direct.
Close.
6 years. That was interval.
That shows up in it too, you guys are just saying the numbers that you guys see. The interval is actually gonna show up in the actual probability we're looking at. Any single year is gonna be our interval. So that tells me when I make my lambda. I have years on bottom. I said state is not height. No one fucking corrected me right there. Did anyone else write down state is not height? But I did it, so I'm not fucking knocking you, you did. Well, we have a number of years listed, right? We have 106. What do we have that corresponds to 106 years? 38 hurricanes. I'm gonna write storm because it's shorter than hurricane. But let's just say storm means hurricane in this problem. Cause and I'm literally that lazy, I didn't wanna write 4 more fucking letters. That's like twice the length. Well, what is that? 38 divided by 106. You know what, I'm gonna put in as many decimals as my calculator gives me. Because I don't know when rounding is gonna fuck the answer up. If I just do 3 decimal places, is that gonna fuck up the answer enough that I get the wrong answer in stack crunch and therefore the wrong answer, and the homework's like, you don't know what you're doing? And all you really did is round it too early, so you're better off just writing down whatever your fucking calculator gives you. That's our rate, this is our mean. Why is that our mean? Because a single year is 1 year. So mu of x equals lambda times t. That fucked up number. 3.5 shit times 1. Anything times 1 is just that number. Now we know this probability thing has to turn into an x with some mass symbol and a number. What does the state is not hit in a single year mean mathematically?
It's not hit in single year.
Is not hit.
Is it 0?
0. That was fucking quicker than normal. Good job, Al. This is normally like pulling teeth. So everybody's like, I don't know, what's not hit mean? Not hit means 0 storms hit. 0 hurricanes hit. So we're gonna use this mean and we're gonna do probability that x equals 0. And I'll walk you like A, B, or C without coming back to this page, because everything after this point is just changing this value here. There is gonna be a question about unusual or not. Maybe I'll do that right now. Unusual will be if probability of x blah 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 is less than 0.05. That defines an unusual event. Less than 5%. I've said that before, but we haven't really had to use it a lot. Starts coming in now because we start using it more and more in the future. That's another kissy. Don't worry, I had a breath mint first. Cracking myself up sometimes. Just being completely crude. It's fucking funny because the way people react to crude humor The look of disgust is fucking great. I'm like, really? You fucking fart too, don't act like you don't. You just aren't old enough to give a fuck. Or not give a fuck about being around other people. I'm sure Val's hit Arturo once or twice, and they're just all quiet and shit.
I don't think that is-
You guys ready? I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna pull off a stack crunch and move it over. We got our Poisson calculator here. We said, I'm gonna do that whole mean. I had 0, and when you do your homework, yours is gonna have a different one. But now you know how to calculate it. 0.35849056, and the first problem is probably the x equals 0. That's not 0, that's 30. How many decimal places do they want? 4 decimal places. Do I need to round that up or not? No, so I can just copy and paste it. What is probability that the state will be hit by at least one major hurricane? What does that translate into? At least one was greater than or equal to 1. Kind of low. Do I need to round that up or not? Yeah, I need to round that up. So I'm gonna come over here and paste it in backspace and change it.
Jones, I know this is kind of random, but I don't know, I forget the signs, what they mean, can you like define the signs again?
Yeah. I know you haven't done the homework yet,
Yeah,
because there will be, we'll talk about it in a second. Is this unusual? Is this less than 0.05? No. Less than means you don't have as much as. Then they ask us at least 3. The 4 decimal places, I have that. Do I need to round up? Is this unusual? Is it less than 0.05? Yes. The one way to think about it is think about it in terms of money. 0.05 is like a nickel. 5 cents, you have 5 cents. Do we have less than 5 cents here? Yes. We've got 0.00. If we rounded to 2 decimal places, that would say 0.01. We have a penny. That's definitely less than 5 cents. That's all they're asking from here on for the rest of that problem. So let's answer Arturo's question. Let me change what I'm sharing here. If you're happy with what you've seen so far, you're free to go. If you want to know more about the symbols and everything, stick around, we're gonna go over that right now. Kristen's like, later. I got a book to fucking read. Did you get any reading in?
I didn't read, I didn't read my for a meeting, right, so.
Oh, you would have got in trouble if that's all you did was see that, didn't get up to go to the bathroom, it was just to read. You would have been in trouble. Alright, so if it says like equals to. Shit, what other words we have for equal? Is the same as. They're using the equal sign. Less than. Fewer than. That's doing this. less than or equal to. Probably won't show up like this, but that has this.
The little line, you just think of it like less than and equal to like.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like half equal sign, half less than sign.
I got you.
That's exactly what it is. This also shows up as the same thing as at most. Then we have greater than. More than. I don't think you'll see any other ones, those have this symbol. And if it says greater than or equal. It has that line underneath it. This is also the same as the at least. If it helps. Picture this. As a vampire or a fuck alligator or something. The mouth of a fucking monster that likes to eat shit. Now, predatory monsters. They like to go and get the biggest meal available and then they don't have to eat for a while. So, this thing always goes after the larger number. Mouth chases larger number. That doesn't really help you in terms of like tearing apart word problems, but this part up here does.
Yeah, that does, that gives me more clarity, it's not like. My whole life, I've had struggles with that. And then,
A lot
yeah,
of
fucking
people.
hard, so like, especially in stats now that I need class, I need to fucking actually get it done. So, I appreciate those.
No problem. Alright, I'm done, that's it for today. If you got questions, I'll stick around, otherwise, if everybody leaves, I'm leaving too.